When a disarraying Ned Flanders is left without a job and without opportunities, going through difficult times, he will fall into temptation and get involved in a dark world. Before the episode, titled The Many Saints of Springfield, starts, Homer sees his beloved couch with a loose thread. Naturally, as we all would, he begins to pull it, but ends up being swallowed and sent to a world beneath the couch, where he finds a small coin that doesn't matter much to him. He also finds his rare baseball card, his treasure from youth, but he ends up tearing it because behind it is his real greatest treasure from youth. He tries to assemble it but gets frustrated, hitting the Rubik's Cube like it was a wife in the 50s.
No good pile of garbage!
Not the first time I've heard that.
Then he sees a TV guide with ALF on the cover. Suddenly, he hears his wife's voice, but can't leave now, as he is part of the couch.
You're part of the couch now.
He tries to escape, using a spring to reach the thread he was pulling, and miraculously manages to get out, only to still be made of yarn. After this amazing title sequence, the episode begins with Flanders' garbage can on fire, which explodes out of nowhere, which wakes up all the neighbours. Marge is scared, but Homer doesn't care at all. Perhaps this incident is just a test from God, is what Ned says. Just before getting hit by Black Truck, he thanks God for providing a tree to land on, and then enters to his room, which also explodes. Later, a truck covers him with trash. The only one happy about this is Barney and Todd, who is thrilled to find a pregnancy test. Holy water that approaches is like acid, but Moe doesn't care. When he gets home, his mailbox is on fire, and his fire extinguisher shoots flames. Even a snake has entered his pantry. So Marge checks on him and he says he's fine, though not really.
Oakley, but I'm definitely not Dokley.
Marge invites Ned to tell her what's going on. She invites him for cocoa. He has been under too much stress, causing him to question life and going to church, losing hair where it really matters, from his fine mustache.
Losing my hair where it counts most.
This all started when he was briefly Bart's teacher who always failed, but Marge doesn't remember. For Ned, that job meant a lot, and happened before they allowed God back in schools. He asks the kids for a silent reflection on the world's problems, to which Nelson asks who they should pray to. Though he tries not to respond, he says, Jesus.
Don't say Jesus! Don't say Jesus! Jesus! Pray to Jesus!
Suddenly, the superintendent comes in, saying it's a public school and he can't try to save sinners, to which Ned prays for Chalmers' soul, which he is punished for. He won't try to save a bureaucrat. The janitor throws him out, shouting that God loves him.
Stay out! God loves you!
Nobody loves Willie!
Ned wanders around the city, feeling down because he had lost 2 wives and 2 jobs. Nobody wanted to hire him. He needed to sit on a bench and pray but had no luck, finding instead a building for the Atheist Society, Agnostics Anonymous, the closed First Church of Springfield, Pagan Express, and a Catholic church he decides to enter. A good man there asks why he's here. It's nothing he hasn't heard before. He describes himself as an unemployed single father with 2 very mischievous kids.
Did you just blink? No.
Tony offers him his kind, explaining that he can give a boost to his business selling items for left-handed people, which is curious since Tony was left-handed until the nuns beat it out of him. They might partner, supporting his store, and he must repay the favour later. That day might never come, but in truth, it will. This dialogue is quite similar to the famous scene from The Godfather, asking if he'll accept help from a sinister source. Don't be scared by sinister, meaning left-handed. Being a man of God and desperate, he'll do the tasks and then respond. Marge can't believe he partnered with the Mafia. According to Google, it was a legitimate business. I mean, who would have thought the internet would lie? At first it was too good to be true. With the grand reopening of the Leftorium, some customers only having the option to buy left-handed things or get out no-handed.
Buy the scissors.
But I'm right-handed.
How'd you like to be no-handed?
Business was thriving. He even did something he hadn't done in a while, smiling. Homer comes home from work and his wife invites him to gossip.
Flanders is in trouble with the mob.
Finally, he does something cool.
Homer, asking how he got involved with Fat Tony, he says that's something he would do, and his father adds, he is indeed so stupid which everyone laughs at. He admits he is stupid, but it is funny. Trusting everyone, he dared to ask uncomfortable questions, like if Tony was a good fella and wise, referencing the movie Goodfellas and the book Wise Guy. Tony invites him to talk elsewhere while settling scores over bad-tasting food.
I have to run an errand. Come with me.
Luigi also delivers bills, but with an empty envelope. He must leave his small hat and bald wig. Had he known mobsters liked Italian food, he'd have stuck to sushi. Meanwhile, Ned is accepted as one of them, spending his time singing with Tony like Frank Sinatra's Mac the Knife, constantly affirming they like each other. During an intimate conversation, but due to Ned's naivety, he did not realise the illegal form of Fat Tony's business. Entering the boss's office, he finds him furious, with business troubles, having many operations, one being selling medicine to patients on the street.
Many operations. One of those is, selling medicine.
But a rival pharmaceutical from New Jersey is pressuring them. Maybe he'll put them to sleep. And yes, good rest is important. Ned proposes exercises from a self-esteem book by Bristol Meyer. As self-expression, he draws an angry face as self-expression, and so he does it, surprisingly being quite good and feeling better. He gets a kiss of thanks, which Ned lets himself go.
You just gave me the kiss of death.
And gives him a kiss in the mouth, which Tony says is the kiss of death, thank goodness, is counteracted by a pinch of affection. However, this wonderful summer ended abruptly. In the legitimate business club, Lisa enters to sell cookies, needing to sell 2,000 boxes to go to Cincinnati. Seeing Flanders, she quickly leaves. She can't believe he joined a criminal gang, which he just realises. Johnny Tightlips asks who the girl is who saw too much. Ned shouts at Lisa to leave, calling her an interfering busybody, finally finding a place where he is welcome. Maybe the real criminal is the neighbour who takes his things and doesn't return them. He orders Lisa out, but also requesting a dozen cookies from Tony, asking if they can talk about hell, using such language disrespects the photo he believes is Tony's mother. Being direct, Ned calls him a rotten tomato, leading Tony to confess he joined a secret organisation with many traditions they aren't proud of.
We are not proud of.
I know. You're Catholic.
But it's not about that. Being straightforward, Tony explains everything, which Ned struggles to believe. It doesn't matter what he signed, he wants out. The real problem is that there's only one way out of their association. Cleverly, Ned asks what floor they are on and jumps out the first floor window, promising to repay them later. Ned tells the Simpsons he sent his kids to stay with Grandpa for safety. They thank God for each meal ingredient. Grandpa can't believe his family tree has square roots. Ned plans to thug the situation out at home.
Okay.
Plan B, refuge in the church, which also burns with the phrase, "You didn't see nothing." The Reverend is happy with his new insurance policy and a toy train, also set on fire. Police investigate, but Wiggum doesn't want to enter since the tape says, "Do not cross." Lou only wants to know where Ned Flanders is, luckily hidden in the Simpsons' attic with many of Ned's old belongings. Homer allows him to stay.
In our garage until, how does Thursday sound?
Today's Thursday.
While he heads to Moe's bar, saying at least his kids are safe with their aunts, the mobs arrive asking for the mustachioed man. Homer stands, moving without turning his back to avoid being strangled, tiring quickly. If he talks wrong, they show him the consequences. Luigi has a long thumbnail, the other kicks legs, and Homer takes the opportunity to leave. The mob chases him through the Quickie Mart, Krusty Burger, Luigi's restaurant, and back to the Quickie Mart and the burgers. They marvel at the number of scenes he eats in, consuming more than Frank eats too much. What sick nicknames, though. Finally, he returns home and goes up to the attic. He has been discovered, but Ned has already left. Marge had brought him towels and supplies, but he is gone. he would never leave without drying himself off, the mobs surprise them. But they are even more astonished to see that Homer, being this fat, has a hot wife. Meanwhile, Flanders walks firmly towards Fat Tony's headquarters. Before entering, he says a prayer, looking for an app to do so. We see some parodies: Waze, Facebook, PayPal, Instagram, Amazon, Etsy, and Snapchat. The comic book guy suggests a prayer in the language of Star Trek, which he finds idiotic, and wishes him good luck while closing his store. Flanders enters Fat Tony's office because he knows deep down that he is a good man. He even calls him by his Christian name, Anthony, as his mother used to. A man who loves his mother that much cannot be bad, and someone who bought so many sweets for the band must have a very tender heart. He is right. Tony is tough on the outside and soft on the inside, like the cannoli, a typical Italian dessert from his family. Now Flanders must simply repeat, "I believe in God, the almighty creator of heaven and earth," and so on. Finally, he must take Tony's hand in loving friendship. No, just kidding.
Okay, kill him.
What?
Just as he is about to do so, Tony orders his men to kill him. Tony apologizes but states that this is the business they chose, although they tricked him into. When asked his last wish, he says he wants to shave his moustache so he can face the Lord clean-shaven. He reveals he has a microphone, and the FBI is already there. However, he had not always worked for the government. It was when a young girl opened his eyes that he offered to become an informant and was accepted. If something went wrong, he would be relocated to Utah under the name Mr. Smith, a complete dream. Tony acknowledges that he liked Flanders, even though he never remembered his birthday and sent a card 3 days late.
You didn't even remember my birthday.
I sent you a card.
Belatedly.
Flanders proceeds to build his home back again. Homer can't help but congratulate him, feeling proud that Flanders put Tony in jail. Though this also saddens him a bit, because he misses Tony. For a very curious reason.
What's wrong?
Well, I miss him a little. That guy can really kiss.
For Tony's side, his job now involves delivering young adult fiction books, much to his frustration. And a curious fact about this episode is that Bart never speaks. He just exists. But in one episode we can see he goes to prison and even tries to escape. If you want to see what happens in this episode, click this video next. But before, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe.